What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Fight IQ MMA. Today, let's begin with Joe Rogan breaking his silence on Khamzat's scam. Last year, Khamzat Chimaev ended up facing backlash from the MMA community after his Smash cryptocurrency coin was exposed as another pump and dump. Before we move forward, don't forget to leave a like on this video to support the channel. Lately, crypto pump and dump scams have been increasing, involving athletes like Chimaev and Scottie Pippen, as well as influencers like Haley Welch. Soon after launch, though, the coin's value collapsed, leaving fans who invested with just a tiny portion of their original funds. Joe Rogan, however, thinks that anyone reckless enough to risk their money on a meme coin like Smash doesn't really deserve sympathy. On episode 2286 of the Joe Rogan Experience, alongside guest Antonio Brown, Rogan spoke on the matter.
This one coin that Khamzat Chimaev, the UFC fighter, released, they were claiming that he did a pump and dump. And they was like, you ripped off your fans. I'm like,
yeah, you can't
man,
rip off your fans.
You can't rip off your fans, obviously. Yeah. But also, I don't know if the people that are buying those coins are fans. I think they're gamblers. I think those people are just gamblers. And they're just trying to figure out, okay, if I buy in now, they probably got like their finger over the sell button, waiting for it to get to a certain number and cash out. Like especially if you get a famous guy like Khamzat or someone else to tweet about it and make it a big deal, and then the price goes up, and then you just pick a peak number, and when it hits that number, you're like, that's it? Who are these people, and why'd they think they were going to make money on coins? Most of those people are not getting tricked. They're like scamming. Yeah, they're trying to figure out. They're hustling. They're trying to figure out when to buy, when to sell.
Figure a way to make it big.
Yeah. Are we mad at the casino when someone blows all their money playing roulette? No.
Of course, Chimaev isn't the only member of the MMA community to be linked to a crypto scam. Arman Tsarukyan talks about his next UFC fight. In a recent chat with the Schmo, Arman Tsarukyan discussed his upcoming UFC fight. He shared that he wants to face Justin Gaethje or Charles Oliveira next, and even named Islam Makhachev as another possible opponent. Here's what he had to say during his talk with Theo. Be sure to check out Theo's channel for awesome interviews and great content. The full interview link is in the description below.
Gaethje wants to fight for the title. It makes sense to fight with me because nobody gonna give him title fight. It's not gonna be fair. He's gonna get title fight. So he gotta beat me or Oliveira to get that title fight. So there is a Ilya too. They gonna give me Oliveira or Gaethje or maybe title fight. So I don't know yet.
Do you want to see Arman Tsarukyan versus Justin Gaethje next? The question is, where does that leave Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira, and Islam Makhachev? Since Islam is targeting a fight this summer, he has plenty of options. With that being said, play matchmaker in the comments and let us know what fights you'd like to see next in the stacked lightweight division. Jiri Prochazka fires back at Magomed Ankalaev comments. Jiri Prochazka may have sent newly crowned champion Magomed Ankalaev a respectful message after his big win over Alex Pereira on Saturday. But Ankalaev wasn't having it. In response, the champ called him a fraud, igniting a heated exchange. On Monday, Prochazka appeared on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani to discuss Saturday's Pereira versus Ankalaev fight and the champion's harsh response. His mouth and the way he talks, I don't like it. I respect everyone except him. He's too much. I don't know why he keeps talking about me. He doesn't even know me. Prochazka then fired back at Ankalaev, calling him the real fraud. When I met him at the UFC PI in Vegas, he was nice and friendly. Now he acts like a superstar and a gangster. He won the title against the worst version of Alex Pereira. For Prochazka, there's only one solution: settling things in the cage. Don't talk about me. You don't know my life. Face me in the cage and then you'll understand. Prochazka wasn't the only one Ankalaev took shots at. After John Jones flexed his title defenses over all current UFC champions combined, someone from Ankalaev's team replied, calling Jones a cheater. In response to a clip of Khalil Roundtree watching from the crowd, Ankalaev wrote, "Khalil Bumtree upset I beat his daddy. Let's go, Jamahal." Since Ankalaev is managed by Ali Abdelaziz, some fans believe Ali himself could be behind these online posts, as he's done in the past for fighters he manages. Magomed Ankalaev reveals Alex Pereira rematch is in the works. After his win at UFC 313, Ankalaev returned to Dagestan and spoke to local journalists. According to Ankalaev, the UFC is already discussing a rematch with Alex Pereira. Negotiations are underway for a rematch. Nothing is official yet, but we agreed. If they want it, we're ready. Jamahal Hill also confirmed the rematch. In a recent YouTube video, Hill explained that after Alex Pereira fought Khalil Roundtree at UFC 307, the UFC informed him that if Roundtree won, an immediate rematch would be booked, Another key detail, Ankalaev wants the fight to happen in Abu Dhabi, meaning we might not see it until after UFC 317, possibly in August or later. Jamahal Hill and Conor McGregor go off on Alex Pereira's ex-girlfriend. Speaking of Alex Pereira, Jamahal Hill went off on Pereira's ex-girlfriend after her controversial comments post-fight. Before we roll the clip, be sure to check out Jamahal Hill's YouTube channel for the full video and more amazing content.
Caught the video, a lot of people has already seen it, of the ex-girl that he was with, you know, that he cut out of his life because she wasn't being real and things like that, coming in and try to come in and take shots. That's lame as hell. I'm just gonna keep it real. That's like really, really lame for her to do. She like married, got married to somebody else, you know what I mean, that whole situation and whatnot. And it's like, bro, how have you not moved on with your life from then? Like, this was like over a year ago. Like, you can really tell whoever the plus side was in a relationship or who was really offering the other person more, given more than they were being offered, ends, and they feel a need to keep trying to use their name and drag themselves back into the situation or the view of that person. Shawty, you got to move on and let that go. That's lame.
Nice to see Jamahal Hill defending Alex Pereira. We agree with Hill. That video was lame, celebrating Pereira's loss just because he moved on. Even Conor McGregor took aim at Pereira's ex, writing, "Fugly. Wash your box. Paddy Pimblett reveals plan after winning UFC belt." On the UFC 314 Volkanovski vs. Lopes card, Paddy the Baddie Pimblett will have a shot to break into the lightweight top 10 when he faces number 7 ranked Michael Chandler. After making his debut in the 155 lb rankings, Pimblett currently holds the number 12 spot ahead of his fight with Chandler at the Crypto.com arena next month. While he's still working his way to a title shot, the Baddie is already thinking ahead. During an interview with Shaq MMA, Pimblett revealed that his first title defense could be against Conor McGregor at Anfield Stadium, the home of Liverpool FC. "My plan is simple. Fight a top 5 opponent, win the belt, and then defend it against Conor McGregor at Anfield. That would be perfect. That's where the money is. Me versus Conor at Anfield." During the interview, Pimblett also took shots at Ilia Topuria for vacating the featherweight belt and moving up to lightweight. Given their bad blood and Topuria's past insults, Pimblett didn't hold back. "I was thinking, wow, he's stupid. Why move up? He's tiny, 5'5" or 5'6". And he calls me fat? He says he can't make 145 LEBs anymore? Sounds like he ran away. He knew Volkanovski, even coming off a KO loss, would give him a harder fight. He had Evloev and Lopez waiting too. If he defended twice, I'd respect him more. Instead, he ran. To Islam or whoever's got the belt. But does he deserve a title shot? Nah. Since Topuria recently teased that fans won't believe his next opponent, it'll be interesting to see what unfolds. TKO is furious with ESPN for UFC 313 issues, and ESPN reacts. The UFC 313 card may have delivered great fights, but fans watching on ESPN Plus had serious technical difficulties. Because of this, ESPN took the unprecedented step of offering a free replay to ESPN Plus subscribers the next morning, leaving longtime fight fans shocked. According to reports from the New York Post and MMA Fighting, TKO executives were absolutely furious at ESPN for the technical meltdown, especially since both sides are negotiating a new media rights deal. During the post-fight press conference, Dana White addressed the issue. "Yeah, I heard. People couldn't buy it on ESPN Plus. I don't know what happened, but a lot of fans were pissed off." ESPN later issued a statement, relayed by MMA Fighting. "Unfortunately, we had a technical issue that impacted UFC PPV purchases on ESPN Plus shortly after 10 p.m. ET. Our team quickly resolved the issue before the main event. We apologize for the inconvenience and are working to ensure a better experience moving forward." However, as Damon Martin of MMA Fighting noted, this isn't the first time ESPN Plus has screwed up on Fight Night. Many fans argue that after almost 7 years, ESPN Plus should have fixed these tech problems. With the UFC-ESPN deal under negotiation, and platforms like Netflix and Amazon eyeing the market, it'll be interesting to see if this latest failure comes back to hurt ESPN. Alexander Volkanovski talks about Diego Lopez's fight. Following UFC 313, all eyes are now on Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes, headlining the next PPV on April 12th. This fight is crucial. Volkanovski aims to snap his two-fight skid and reclaim his title. Meanwhile, Lopes looks to make it 6 straight and secure UFC gold. Ahead of the fight, much has been made about the curse of fighters 35+, as stats show they struggle in title fights at 170 lbs or below. But Volkanovski isn't buying into that narrative. During a promo for Engage Fightwear, which he co-owns with Israel Adesanya, Volkanovski made it clear. Lopes has never...
I think I can beat Diego everywhere. He's dangerous. He's going to be dangerous everywhere, so I need to sharpen up everything, right? Even if I want to go the wrestling route or grappling route, I think I dominate there anyway. Everyone knows him for his jiu-jitsu, but trust me, I ain't worried if it goes there. Can he handle the fact that even when things are going his way, I ain't quitting, I'm coming back even stronger. But I don't even think he'll get me there, but even if he does, I think he's still going to absolutely hate being in these positions because he's going to realize I can't stop this guy. I'll show the world and him that I'm just different.
Although he's up against a hungry young contender, fans seem to be backing Volkanovski ahead of the fight. On most major sportsbooks, the former champion is sitting as a slight betting favorite. However, that could change over the next month. Before the two step into the octagon in Miami, UFC fighter pulls out a fight. When the UFC heads to Kansas City next month, the promotion will do so without Mitch Ramirez, who was forced out of his upcoming scrap with Akmar Hassan Zara. Ramirez made his UFC debut last year against Thiago Moises after a second-round loss to Carlos Prats on the Contender Series back in 2023. When he and Hassan Zada shared the octagon in Kansas City next month, the former LFA fighter was hoping to secure his first win. Instead, he'll be forced to rehab a broken toe after a sparring mishap. In a post on Instagram this week, Ramirez announced that he had been forced out of the fight while thanking matchmakers Sean Shelby and the UFC for being patient with him. Along with sharing pictures from the hospital, he wrote in part, "Last Saturday, I threw a front kick sparring and clipped an elbow. It caused a severe break in one of my toes and displaced the bone. After meeting with multiple specialists and trying to figure a way through, I was told surgery was the only way to reconnect the bones and ensure proper healing. Unfortunately, I had to pull my fight. Surgery is done, and it went well. I'll be back on the mat in about a month and looking to rebook ASAP. Thank you, Sean Shelby and UFC, for being patient with me throughout all the setbacks over the last year. I'm more committed to this than ever. Expect one hell of a fight when I get back in there. Until then, we keep finding ways to improve." So far, no word on how long he'll be sidelined or what the UFC plans to do with his opponent. However, given how much time there is before the Kansas City card, look for the UFC to find Hassan Zara a replacement opponent. BJ Penn posts concerning footage on social media. Over the past few years, BJ Penn has been in headlines for a number of scandals, from DUI arrests to domestic disturbances. The headlines surrounding Penn as of late haven't exactly built on his legacy as one of the greatest fighters in UFC history. Fight fans may remember that Penn recently accused Georges St-Pierre of getting someone to wear a skin-tight mask and pose as him during tests and weigh-ins leading up to their rematch in 2009 so that GSP could use PEDs. This week, Penn posted a video on Instagram that left fans concerned. In it, he alleged that the government took out both his mom and one of his brothers and replaced his 79-year-old mom, Lorraine, with another woman.
What's up, Paul? Huh? You. You what? You can only do this because you get the government behind you. You like get crazy. You. This lady right here, look at her legs. She's acting like my 79-year-old mother. But she's not my 79-year-old mother. And it's interesting when you Google Lorraine Abelais, our house pops up. Because this lady acts like Lorraine Inouye. So you Google Lorraine Abelais and this house pops up, and then you look and then my mom's name starts popping up. She's trying to steal everything. This is not my mother. And I'm putting this up because she's saying that she's gonna get an attorney and try to do something. She's trying to throw me out, and if I attack her, she'll try to do something, TRO or something else, but she's...
Along with the video, Penn wrote, "Like and share. I need lawyers and I need police. But if police won't help, I need to defend myself." He then followed it up by reposting the same video along with the caption, "Hey, police, this lady is not Lorraine Shin. She is in our Penn family house right now." The situation has left the MMA community concerned, with fans hoping someone close to the former champion can step in and get him the help he needs. Dana White, facing major backlash for UFC 313 on a recent episode of the Thick Boy podcast with Brendan Schaub. Schaub went off on the Amanda Lemos versus Yasmin Jauregui fight at UFC 313 being on the main card. He called it the worst fight in UFC history and also criticized both fighters, saying they had a low skill level and didn't deserve to be on a pay-per-view main card. He also explained why he believes the UFC product is declining and how the promotion is slowly turning into boxing. And before we continue, we have a favor to ask. Help us reach 200,000 subscribers on Fight IQ MMA by subscribing and turning on notifications for daily MMA content. Seriously, we rarely miss a day. Make sure to check out Brendan Schaub's show, the link for which is in the description below.
Buddy, it is the worst fight in UFC history. When you display that, it hurts your brand. You cannot sit here and tell me Amanda Lemos and Lasman Lucindo are two of the best fighters you have to offer, and you're asking the public to pay money for it. You are taking advantage of your fan base, and especially the hardcores. You're us over. Well, now you're just taking advantage of the fan base. You're just assuming that the brand's bigger than anything, and you can keep shoving this down our face. There is no way in you can sit down and tell me that those are the two most technical and talented fighters, whether it's man or woman. I don't give a about that. Just pound for pound, skill for skill. You cannot sit there and tell me they deserve placement on a UFC pay-per-view that I had to buy. There's no way, dude. There's no way, man. Geez, I wonder why so many people are illegally streaming your because this is what you're providing. Doing exactly what boxing has done, and they've ruined their product, and now you're taking a page from their book and giving us this
Do you guys agree with Schaub's comments? Let us know in the comment section below. As for most of the MMA community, they seem to agree with Schaub, with many praising him for speaking out on the situation. Here's what some fans had to say. Rare Brendan Schaub W. Brendan Schaub is a man of the people. My thoughts exactly. Fighters pulled out of fights, no good replacements, and then people couldn't even view the fights because of ESPN Plus's issues. I know that the UFC I love and have always been a huge fan of is better than this. Something's not right. When Brendan Schaub is making a good point, LOL. Man, this Brendan guy is speaking facts, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people shilling for the UFC here, but Brendan is 100% right. I personally refuse to give these fights my viewership and change the channel until the next fight came on.